My name is Rafael, you're watching Rock and Roll Garage, and today we're going to talk about the two covers of Something that George Harrison said was his favorite ones. But first, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comment below, tell me what you think, if you like these versions or not, and let's start. Well, Something is certainly one of the greatest Beatles songs of all time, certainly one of the greatest ones which were written by George Harrison. Beautiful song and one of the biggest hits. And like most of the Beatles songs, a huge number of artists covered them later on, and many famous artists covered their songs and made really different versions. And back in 1988, in an interview with Much Music, we transcribed, the late legendary George Harrison revealed which were two of his favorite versions of Something. And the first one was done by the legendary American artist, Mr. James Brown. And this is what George Harrison said. He said, "The best one I ever heard was from James Brown, and he did it in 1972. But he did only as a B-side of a re-recorded version of Think, which is a very old song of his. So it was only the B-side. I sent him a postcard and said, you should make it an A-side. It's a killer. It's really good." And curiously, an interesting thing about Something is that George said he composed that track with Ray Charles on his mind, like if it was a song for Ray Charles to sing, although it was obviously recorded by the Beatles. And in an interview in 2019, George Harrison's official social media, which is managed by his state and his family, posted a quote from the late musician, and he talked about the Ray Charles version, although he didn't specifically said it was one of the greatest versions. Let's just make a pause here to talk about the Ray Charles thing, because the second one he mentioned in the interview we're talking about, I still won't reveal it, okay? So this is what he said. My favorite version is the one from James Brown. When I wrote it, in my mind I heard Ray Charles singing it. He did do it some years later. But he was not satisfied with the version made by Ray Charles, as he said in an interview on the Polish on the book George Harrison Interviews and Encounters. He said, as it happened, the song ended up with over 115 cover versions. But when Ray Charles did it, I was really disappointed. Except for the middle, the bridge to it, he sings great, but it was a bit of a corny sort of way he did it. So he wasn't really pleased with the Ray Charles version, although he had him in mind when he wrote the song. But now, I'm gonna tell you which is the second version that was one of George's favorites, and it was made by the legendary, also another legendary American singer, Mr. Smokey Robinson. And this is what George told Much Music. He said, "I like Smokey Robinson's version of Something as well. I can't think offhand of anything else, other versions." That's what he said. And the version recorded by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles was mixed with the song Something You Got by Chris Kenner. The track was featured on the 1970 studio album A Pocket Full of Miracles. And George was a big fan of Smokey Robinson, and he even composed the track on his solo career later on, which he had Smokey in mind, which was called Pure Smokey, which was featured on his seventh solo studio album called 33 1/3, released in 1976. So these are the two Something versions that George Harrison loved, and I hope you liked the video. If you haven't heard these songs, you can go to the description and hear them. They are on the article. And please subscribe to the channel, like the video. Don't forget to leave your comment, tell me what you think, if you like these versions or not. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and I see you later.